activated from the physically unable to perform list. However, his buddy there at corner, Joey Porter Jr., remains on the PUP and remains looking for a new contract.
These things are, I've always, and I learned this in my early years as a head coach, you have to separate the business in the football. Sometimes it's easier than others. This is a challenge, for both Joey and us, because we're first-year staff. We've seen him play. I've competed against Joey. I would love the opportunity to coach Joey Porter. I know our defensive guys would love the opportunity. So, we're at an impasse right here, and you got to respect it. Every one of us has a contract. The organization, they have beliefs and so forth. So, but yeah, that's just kind of where we are.
Okay, Mike Garafolo joining us now. Mike McCarthy not really mincing words, talking about the contract impasse between Porter and the club. And look, on Porter's side of things, he's seen a couple of his draft classmates already get extended. So where do things stand right now?
I would not put this on Mike McCarthy because this is the business side of things, but that word impasse, I'm telling you, is probably going to register with Joey Porter Jr., who's going to sit there and say, you guys haven't made an offer. And that's my understanding, by the way. I've talked to sources familiar with the progress of talks. There hasn't been an offer from the Steelers. And they say, probably, we want to see him on the field first. Well, if you're Joey Porter Jr., Rhett, you alluded to it, you didn't have to see Nick Herbig on the field before you got him done back in the spring. Remember, he wasn't participating in the offseason workouts before they did a 4-year, $100 million deal with the linebacker there. So impasse is usually, hey, we both made a run at it, and we just haven't been able to get a deal done. Doesn't seem like the Steelers financially have made a run at it at this point. It's more of a standoff, Ian. So I just wonder where this is going to go, because obviously the Steelers don't like to do this stuff during the season, and Porter Jr. is going to want it done before he sets foot on the field.
The Steelers do not do contracts during the season. That has been their historic stance, and I expect that to continue. And really, Mike, the reason that they're in an impasse, or whatever you would call it, is because it's pretty clear. When Joey Porter gets a new contract, he is going to be the highest paid corner in the NFL. The Steelers, if they are not willing to make him the highest paid corner, probably haven't offered for that reason, which is why we are here, basically where we are now. And of course, what's going to happen, he's a big name. There have been rumors. There have been, I would say, trade chatter around the NFL surrounding Joey Porter, teams wondering, is he available? And look, we do see guys from time to time like this traded right before the season. If you can't get a contract done, teams will call and say, how about this player? And look, he's a great player. These kinds of players generally get traded for first-round picks or premium draft picks. If that is going to happen, that's what I would expect. At this point, it is pretty up in the air where this heads. Steelers can answer all of this with a big contract. Just doesn't seem like they are there yet. So we're going to keep watching whichever way this goes.
Okay, Ian, thanks very much. Mike, appreciate that. Let's get to the offensive side of the ball for the Steelers, where they have 4 quarterbacks vying for a roster spot there. Obviously, we know Rodgers and Rudolph are the veterans. This last week, we had Will Howard and Drew Aller take all the reps at quarterback in the shutout loss to the Jets on Friday night. Will Howard threw 2 picks. Drew Aller completed less than 50% of his passes. Where do the Steelers, what is their thinking right now on the composition of that quarterback room moving forward?
Well, even before the game, Red, it looked like they were headed toward keeping all 4 of the quarterbacks on the roster. And that's because, obviously, Aaron Rodgers is the starter, and it appears certain now that Mason Rudolph will be the backup quarterback. And then I think what this game showed us is there's a pretty good gap between Mason Rudolph and Will Howard and Drew Aller. However, Will Howard and Drew Aller have shown enough to be tantalizing, right? They played really well in preseason week 1. Drew Aller, of course, is the most recent draft pick. So you would want to keep them around. They probably don't feel comfortable putting them on the practice squad because another team could swipe them away. Don't forget, Mike McCarthy's job is to win games now, but also to identify and develop the next quarterback. And if you keep all 4, you keep those 2 guys, and it gives Mike McCarthy and his staff a longer look to see if maybe those 2 guys or one of them are part of the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay, Judy, we'll keep an eye on it as we get closer to roster cutdown day on Sunday. Meanwhile, the Buffalo Bills will take on the Steelers here in the preseason finale, which you can catch live on NFL Network Thursday for both teams. They're from Orchard Park, where I've heard rave reviews of Josh Allen's chemistry with new receiver DJ Moore, acquired in that trade with the Chicago Bears. We now bring in Cam Wolf for some more insight on what this Bills franchise and the direction this Bills franchise is headed under new head coach Joe Brady. He's obviously been there, Cam, as the offensive coordinator for the Bills the last couple seasons. There's familiarity there. So what differences can we really expect with this Bills team?
Yeah, Red, I've been around the Bills' last two preseason games, and I was wondering how different could they truly be with Joe Brady, who was already there. Their left tackle, Deion Dawkins, made it clear we're a whole different vibe of team. He said Joe Brady is a lot looser. He said Sean McDermott's more militant style, and Joe Brady is more swagged up, South Florida, loose, confident, bringing energy. He said he re-energized us as a team. He said both styles can work. We had a lot of success with Sean, but Joe brings something different, a confident urgency to us. And when you see him walking around, it's kind of funny to see. Joe Brady walks around with a t-shirt and shorts and a gold rope chain, whether it's hot outside or cold outside. But talking with him, he said his big thing is he wants this team to view it as year one, not just a compilation of what they've done. And that's translated to Josh Allen. I've seen him bounce around. I've seen him have a little bit more spurts to him. And I think the DJ Moore addition is going to be a big part of this. DJ Moore had his best success with Joe Brady as his offensive coordinator in Carolina. And watching them, you can see every day Josh Allen and DJ Moore's connection grow better. DJ Moore talked about just learning how they can't be perfect with one another. They are playmakers. That's them at their best. The route's not going to be perfect. The drop's not going to be perfect. Just beat man coverage. And they think that's what's going to add another element for Josh and maybe help him not to do everything when it comes to playoff time.
Pairing that with the potent run game from James Cook, and things could be is now the backup quarterback. And what does that mean for his development and how this Browns franchise ultimately views him, Ian?
Well, I think among the most important things that Shedeur Sanders heard from Todd Monken today publicly, although they did speak for about an hour privately, which is important as well, just for the relationship and everything moving forward, is that Shedeur has closed the gap. And you look at the realities of the NFL, you look at the realities of the Browns situation specifically, there's a pretty good chance Shedeur Sanders is going to play. Now, what he doesn't want, and really what the Browns don't want either, is just throw him out there and say, all right, see what he has, and then if it's not good enough, move on to someone else. You want him to, when he's going to be out there, to be ready to do it and really in a position to succeed. The fact that it's probably taking a few more games than he wants, that is okay, because all that matters by the end of the Browns season this year is, do they have a franchise quarterback on their roster? That comes in evaluation. That comes with watching guys play. There's a likelihood that Shedeur Sanders will be on the field at some point this year. And then it really is on him to prove that he is the franchise guy moving forward for the Cleveland Browns. And his play will answer the story for us anyway, Brett.
Yeah, no question. Ian, thanks very much. Some quarterback competition in Atlanta with some different circumstances, though. Michael Penix has been injured, has been kept out of team drills since recovering from the November ACL injury, and Tua Tagovailoa has been taking the reps as the one quarterback. That changes today as Penix returned to 11-on-11 drills, could play in the preseason finale, as the Falcons have yet to name a starter for week one of the regular season against the Steelers. Trade here this week as we get set for the final week of the preseason. The Patriots sending Kayshon Boutte to the Texans in exchange for safety Jalen Reed, who's been a terrific special teamer down there in Houston. Patriots get a 7th-round pick as well. Boutte is part of a crowded wide receiver room with the addition of A.J. Brown this offseason. Some good news, as Ian Rappaport here mentions, for the Las Vegas Raiders. Had been some real concern of a long-term injury for Ashton Jeanty after he was helped off the practice field on Sunday. Sounds like it's an ankle injury and not believed to be long-term, which, of course, is terrific news as we welcome